Hey, welcome to our B3 Sciences presentation on Saturday, January 31st. I want to welcome Suzanne, who's hosting today's presentation. She's going to share with you her experience with BFR, why she's so excited about sharing it with you. And then I'll come on and I'll do a 30-minute presentation and share with you what is BFR? How can it apply to my life? And then for the people that are live, we'll stick around and answer questions. So Suzanne, thanks for inviting us today. And I'm going to highlight you here and give us a little background on your BFR experience.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. And thank you, Dr. Mike, for taking the time to join me and teach us all. So I've been using BFR for 4 years, and it started with the vibration plate, and I saw Amber Kivett using these bands on her arms and legs and wondered what it was. And I went the cheap route, went to Amazon, bought a cheap pair, and it didn't work. And then I saw a presentation with Dr. Mike and saw, oh, they're unsafe. So you get what you pay for, and sometimes you put yourself at risk. So I made the investment, and actually I decided to become a founder because based on that one presentation, I thought I can help the RV community that I'm living in. They're 55 plus, they're retired, most want to move, and they're conditioned to do it the old way. So I had good results. Within 3 months, I had a 70-year-old put on an inch of muscle. Just twice a week we were working out. And he was working out 6 days a week already. So we just added BFR to 2 of his days. And he told me he's never been able to get his calves defined. And that was the time that he did. And his kidney disease reversed one stage. So that was pretty awesome. And then I decided working at the RV park was not for me, but I wanted to share this technology. So I hit the road and started doing events with a focus on pickleball and law enforcement first responders. And because one, athletes can use it, and our first responders need a quick, thorough without going to the gym and, you know, hurting themselves. So this week I was at Chief of Police Conference in Arizona and was just reminded how important it is for just everyday people to law enforcement, high elite athletes to use it. So for me, my dad's 84. I see immediate results in his varicose veins, his diabetes. For my client with Parkinson's, she has been able to lose 10 pounds of inflammation and get better mobility. For myself, I love doing it wherever I am, especially in my booth, just because they say, what are you doing? So that's my story.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. Okay, I'm going to bring up the presentation, share a PowerPoint with you so I can explain to you how the science works and then how it can apply to your life and even some of the people that you know to get similar type results. We call it the new way to exercise, and the technology is called blood flow restriction. Now, this was discovered in Japan, and when we found it in the 2013-14 time range, they were 20 to 30 years ahead of us in this technology. Thanks to one of our pioneers, Dr. Jim Stray Gunderson, a buddy of mine. He pioneered bringing this to the United States and working with Olympic athletes. But now we're in a different place. BFR is becoming a staple in not only rehab, but home exercise and exercise for sport and longevity. And you can simply go out to Google Scholar. I'd encourage you, all of you, to do this and type in BFR or blood flow restriction. There are over 12,000 papers that have been published, meta reviews, peer reviews, and there are numerous universities across the United States that now have grants to continue to study this. This technology is grounded in science, and it looks at what we all know exercise is essential. But for the majority of us in our mid 30s, maybe to our mid 80s, right? We're not 20 years old anymore. And it's real interesting. It happened to me. It might have happened to you. This high intensity, heavy load training at some point becomes unattainable or unsustainable. Why? Because we don't recover and repair like we did in our 20s when our growth hormone was high. And everybody knows this. You start to feel your age. This happens in our mid 20s. And if you look at that chart, I'm 60 years old. I'm getting 20% of the normal growth hormone I got as a 20-year-old. Now, here's the great news. You can restore this. What if you could ignore your chronological age growth hormone? You could say, hey, I'm 60, but I don't have to feel 60. I'm 50, but I want to hit a golf ball like I'm 20. Well, you can do that with the right kind of exercise we're going to talk about. But most people leave this unchecked. They just accept things like aging, body composition, stiffness, early cardiovascular disease, adult onset diabetes, which is growing way too fast, hypothyroidism, bone density problems, brain degeneration. All of these are linked to low growth hormone in the aging process? Well, we have two options. I'm going to present a third with you today. The first one's high intensity exercise. That's a challenge. And the other one is dangerous synthetic growth hormone. But here's the problem. Most people can't do it the natural way. High intensity exercise becomes unattainable, either due to time or pain, or people don't like the soreness that they have to deal with. And we all typically gravitate towards this light exercise mode. Well, look, you can hear it all you want about these different steady state cardios, but we all know the difference. We know the difference between vigorous walking and running the stadium stairs. We know the difference between light weights and heavy weights, and then we know the difference between water aerobics or Zumba and a CrossFit clap bang, crash, banging the ropes. The ones on the right create the muscle and the strength and the change and the anti-aging, but the price tag is so high that most of us can't do it. Well, what if there was now a breakthrough in exercise? So you could do exercise on the left in 5 to 10 minutes, but it would produce results like you were exercising at a high intensity on the right. That's blood flow restriction exercise, and we're going to explain it. But the most profound part of it is you're going to be able to work out in less than half the time, think 5 to 10 minutes, with very light weight that won't hurt, won't create soreness, but you're going to respond as if you did a surging growth hormone high intensity workout. And in many cases, this light workout gets better results than the traditional heavy workout. At the age of 52, my buddy Dr. Jim Stray Gunderson calls me. Hey, Mike, you ever heard of BFR? I'm in Japan. No. He says, what if you could work out for 5 to 10 minutes with light weights and build muscle, get strong, reduce pain? And of course, I'm like, well, sure. And then I'm kind of like chuckling to myself. But look, this is Dr. Jim. This guy's one of the smartest guys in the world. Comes back from Japan, comes over to my house, and he's got these bands, these kind of things that look like blood pressure cuffs, but they're skinnier and they're flexible and they don't feel like a blood pressure cuff. He puts it on my arm, and I start doing what we now call 3 minute arms, not with 30 pounders like you normally lift, little 2 pound pink dumbbells. And I'm 2 to 3 minutes in, and let me tell you, this was easy, and my muscles are all pumped up and burning like I just did a high intensity training session, which by the way would normally make my shoulder hurt. And I get done, and I'm in amazement that I've got this fatigue, and I move my shoulder around and my shoulder doesn't hurt. And I'm thinking, I say to him, what did you do to me? I'm getting all the benefits of a workout with a fraction of the time and no pain. And he just laughs. He says, we're not done. He puts the leg bands on me. And I say, oh, great. And now I'm really excited because I want to feel it in my legs. And I've got 2 joints replaced. And I've got a lot of arthritis. And I say, how much weight, Jim? 40, 50? He says, no weight. I'm like, oh, come on. How about 40 or 50s? No, no, you don't need any weights. Just kind of get in a skier position, Mike, and do little pulse squats. And then did some static lunges and some rear leg kicks. This is easy stuff, kind of like I'm in a water aerobics class and my legs are on fire like I'm doing high intensity exercise. And I got done in 4 minutes. This is now one of our most popular workouts, 4 minute legs. And I start walking around. I'm like, Jim, why does my knee not feel stress or tension? He said, oh, yeah, that's the nitric oxide. And it was like putting me in a time machine and taking me 100 years into the future, to the future of exercise. And I started training, not an hour, not 45 minutes, no heavy weights, no long cardio. I started training for 8 to 10 minutes. Super light weights like exercise tubing, easy cardio up and down the steps. And I mean, it's like somebody put me in a time machine and went back 25 years. Now, 10 years later, I've done over 35 sessions. I've never lifted a heavy weight. I've never worked out more than 15 minutes. And I've never once been sore. I never wake up and say, oh, I didn't train. I should have trained harder. Why? Because you no longer have to live that lifestyle. It's not about no pain, no gain, or go hard, go home. It's about triggering the right signals. And then I started looking at the science. And the science shows that this light exercise elevates growth hormone like we're doing high intensity exercise. And me at 52, to be able to return my growth hormone to a level I had in my 20s, that's impossible. There's nothing that can do that. Or I'd have to spend thousands on growth hormone and deal with all the side effects. So I was now obtaining something that I couldn't even obtain with traditional training, surging growth hormone like I was a bodybuilder. And now we know through science that's what has been happening to millions of people around the world. Now it's a staple with our U.S. Olympic teams, famous doctors like Mercola, Dr. Oz. Here's some of our sports teams. Kansas City Chiefs use them, the Lakers, the Brewers, Atlanta United, Chicago Cubs, Mayo Clinic, Stanford, Air Force Academy. I was just on the phone yesterday with a general. We're going to be implementing it in their special airfare elite force training, which will eventually get into all the elite training forces. Why? Because they now know by me introducing this technology to the general that they don't have the best training method. They know that. I said to them, you're not using the best training. And they said, well, we don't do anything except the best. And then they looked at BFR and said, we got to get all our guys to switch over to this technology, kind of like the athletes have done. And now a lot of our famous celebrities are doing, like Mark Wahlberg and Nick Cannon and Thor, and then everyday people. This is Dr. Dennis Brickner. He's an over 50, competes in the senior games, senior Olympics. Now he competes in 6 events and has never won more than one medal. I think it was silver. And he trains for 10 to, he trains less and gets better results. In every event he competes in national championship, he brings home gold, bronze, or silver. This is one of our moms. She used to train for an hour and a half, Janine. She's now down to less than 20 minutes and could not believe that she actually dropped fat, increased muscle, and she was able to get off her thyroid medication. She was no longer training the traditional load my body way. She was training what we call the metabolic way of working with your biology. It's one of our dads. Knee pain, out of shape, can't do traditional exercise. He said within 4 days of 4 workouts, he felt 20 years younger. Knee pain went away, energy came back, started adding muscle, dropping fat, using that little exercise tubing. This is Holly. Well, we know if we can do high intensity exercise, we can turn on fat metabolism. Holly's in a wheelchair at 400 pounds. She can't do that. We put the bands on her, had her start doing light exercises with soup cans. She was able to create that burn or fatigue in her muscles. And here, a year and a half later, she's lost 200 pounds, got her life back. Here's some of our seniors. They say seniors can't build muscle. Not true. Building muscle is not an external thing, it is a biology thing. And if you can produce the burn or lactic acid at any age, you'll build muscle. But the common problem is seniors can't lift heavy weights, so they can't get the burn and fatigue in their muscles to turn on the growth hormone, stimulate muscle. This is JC in 4 weeks, and he'd already been training his whole life, switching to BFR, felt that pump and burn, adding an inch to his arms, 2 inches to his thighs. Estes and Kathy, same thing. turned their water aerobics into muscle building, anti-aging type workouts. We now have hundreds of people in wheelchairs and walkers that can now get high intensity results with low intensity exercise. A recent study came out in July of this last year showing that adolescents or kids 10 to 19 years old, BFR is safer, more effective, and gets better results. Not it's an alternative, it is better. Why? Because these kids can now use light weights, build muscle and strength, and not risk their growth plates or injury. Now, if you want to do more research on some of these topics like military, physically challenged, kids, seniors, lose weight, make sure you go to the website. Suzanne will share her website with you. And each one of these sections has all the science and even a video where I explain it. Next, let's talk about athletes. This is becoming the unfair advantage for athletes. Amateur athletes that we see using it are achieving results and gains that traditional training is not achieving. That's Colin. He went from running a 4.62 40, had trained his whole life at 17 years old. In 8 weeks, he ran a 4.35. BFR allowed him to train at a better efficiency with more growth hormone. That's Emily. She added 6 inches to her vertical in volleyball. These are our bodybuilders and power lifters who are now using light weights in conjunction with traditional training to reach new results. This is Scott Moore, recent Hall of Fame pickleball player, one of the most famous in history. He now trains 10 minutes on the pickleball court. No more hour workouts. He does it right on the pickleball court. He's healed fractures in record time. He healed a meniscus tear without surgery. And he'll tell you this is his anti-aging boost to playing pickleball. We have golfers now all across the country who are able to work out in 10 minutes, either from home or right on the golf range, putting the bands on, doing light exercises, and even hitting balls off the golf range, building strength, fitness, reducing pain, and hitting the golf ball further. If you'd like to know more about our golf program, we'll make sure you have access to this. Here's the section on our website that shares all the performance enhancements to volleyball, yoga, tennis, speed, run, bike, swim, pickleball, kettlebell, golf, basketball. We have sections on all this, and it shares with you all the scientific research of why this is changing the game for athletes. People who want to tone up, that are used to hour-long workouts, are changing down to 8 to 10 minutes. Sarah, when she switched, not when she began exercising, when she switched to BFR, she lost 21 inches, 12% body fat, and put on 9% lean muscle mass. And she'll tell you she feels younger. It's more efficient. It's more scientifically advanced. Excuse me. We also have people with chronic pain. Jennifer was a marathon runner and then developed fibromyalgia and had not ran for 10 years because of the exacerbation of her pains. By doing therapeutic short BFR sessions, it turned on her nitric oxide and growth hormone, and within 4 weeks, all of her 10-year pain was gone, and now she's able to return to the things she loves, which is running marathons. People with depression or anxiety, we know in science that short bouts of vigorous exercise can help them. The problem, very few of people with this challenge want to do high intensity. That's where BFR is a great solution. Bodybuilders now are learning about BFR, how they can work out for 10 minutes with light weights and put all their muscle back on that they had 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now let's look at the science. When we create healthy fatigue in the body without overloading it, without stressing it with high intensity, science shows that this has tremendous health benefits. If you go out to the heart health page of our website, doing light exercise with BFR stimulates a better lowering of blood pressure, a starting of reversing atherosclerosis, and a reversing of hardening of the arteries. And it's all proven in science. People who are developing blood sugar issues, especially adult onset diabetes, studies are now showing that if these people could do short, high intensity exercise, not light exercise, not playing pickleball, not going for a swim, very vigorous, that this can substantially help with maintaining healthy blood sugar. Well, we know these people can't tolerate high intensity. BFR is proven to replicate this and improve blood sugar. It's also proven in studies to improve brain health through better circulation, oxygenation, and releasing of brain-derived neurotrophic factor. I can't tell you how many seniors we have who are functioning better with a higher quality of life, especially with their brain. The immune system, via anti-inflammatory macrophages and T killer cells, is stimulated. This is why people who do high intensity exercise and people who do BFR have a substantially lower incident rate of getting severe viral and bacterial infections. Thyroid. Studies now show that people with thyroid problems can benefit from short, high intensity exercise. The problem, again, most people can't tolerate this type of training. BFR now shows that it has a positive benefit on stimulating the thyroid and helping with thyroid issues. We've had a lot of women who have improved or even eliminated their thyroid medication when working with their doctor. Veins get healthier. You would think that people who have vein issues would be very concerned about this type of exercise, but the science actually shows that it improves the ability for the veins in your legs to move blood after doing short BFR sessions. We talked about the pain effects. Here's one of our senior pickleball players. He had 20-year knee pain. It was gone in 4 visits. Now, how can that happen? Well, you've got to understand nitric oxide, which a lot of you have heard about. Nitric oxide is the circulation hormone or neuropeptide. And when you stimulate fatigue with BFR, it improves circulation throughout the entire body. That's why the brain gets better. It's why joints feel better. And in this study, it's why kidneys get better. You heard Suzanne say at the beginning that she had somebody with chronic kidney disease and they were able to reduce her kidney disease backwards 1 stage, which is unheard of. Why? Because a chronic kidney disease organ is a lot like your feet that get cold without circulation, or your shoulder that feels crepid and rigid because there's poor circulation. Doing BFR improves circulation throughout the entire body, and in this case was shown to help with chronic kidney disease. To learn more about all the health benefits, don't take my word for it. Go read about what it does for blood sugar health. I did a video. Go read about how it helps the heart, or with neuropathy, or chronic tendonitis, or thyroid. All of the science and data is on our website in these sections, and on each one of these pages, I will share with you a video of why it works. Now, the next step is simple. Simply implement BFR into your life. But here's the key. You want to make sure you get bands that are safe and comfortable and are backed by an instructional system. Although this is safe, it is not a jump rope. It is technology, and you're going to need some assistance. Now, we are so convinced that you are going to love your BFR bands. We're one of the originating companies, and still today the only company that will take back used bands. When you try this, and I know you will want to try it, if you don't absolutely love it, you've got 30 days from the day they arrive, not order date. So it takes you 5 days to get them. You've got 30 days to give them a try. If you don't love them, simply send them back. You're out a small fee for shipping. The way you get started is you size yourself on our website. You get 2 armbands and 2 leg bands. The cost is $519. By the way, if you go research the top 5 companies, and I'll tell you their names: B3, Suji, Smart Cuffs, Delphi, Katsu. That's what all the athletes are using. We are the most affordable and the most user-friendly bands. All the other bands start in the mid 500s and go up to 5,000. So we're what is called the Mustang, the most value, the most quality for the best value in the BFR industry. If you've got a family and you want to get multiple people using, you can get a family pack, which would be 2 sets of arms, 2 sets of legs. You'll have all the sizes, and you'll save approximately $80 when you do that. Next, we have the only live and on-demand BFR application. You're going to get this free with your purchase. You'll see the instructions videos that show how easy it is to put them on, pump them up, give you some ideas for exercises and what you should feel. There are 9 live instructors, so you can work out with us live, or you could access over 100 on-demand workouts. If you want to continue after 30 days, it's only $29.99 a month to have access to this expanding live and on-demand library. Next, you're probably going to need some consulting. You'll probably reach a point where you've got a question and you don't know if you're getting the best results. I am going to be available, and I always am, 5 days per week for you to schedule a time to come meet me on a presentation like this one, Zoom. It'll just be you and me, or us and a couple people, and I will help you troubleshoot or give you suggestions to get the best results. Now, to tell you a little bit about myself, there's probably only 1 or 2 other people in the world that have done as many personal sessions, that have helped as many people, that have developed systems like this. So you're going to get access to me, and I consult with people at the top levels of the health and fitness world and the athletic world. But my passion is to help everyday people like those of us that are on this call. If you want to lose weight and tone up and build muscle, I'll even give you a free BFR diet course. Because when you elevate growth hormone, you've got to eat differently. You've got to start thinking in terms of fueling. And I'll connect all the dots so that you know exactly how you need to eat. If you want to join us on our Facebook or Instagram page, I'll leave this page up for 10 seconds. Just take a snapshot of that. We have a growing group of thousands of people on both social media platforms, sharing results, sharing stories, collaborating. Instagram at B3 Sciences. Facebook, go to Facebook groups and search I am B3. Well, we call it the new way to exercise, and it is a quantum leap forward, scientifically proven, that's being used by our top celebrities and Olympic and elite level athletes. And now it's available to everyday people, whether you just want to get back in shape, improve a health condition, be better at your recreational sport, or if you're serious in a sport, be able to take that to the next level. Okay, I want to thank everybody that's tuning into the recorded presentation. We will send you a follow-up email where you can learn more about researching on Suzanne's website and how to get started with your own B3 bands. Thanks for attending.